Are you longing to feel connected and not so alone? Longing to be happy and more alive? Badass Counseling is excited to announce the creation of Community Plus, a subscription-based private group of folks just wanting to more closely share their soul journey together with like-minded folks and with me, Sven. For a monthly fee, you'll get bi-monthly live Q&As with me, Sven, giving you a better chance of getting your own questions answered. A private community feed for you to post pictures, successes, struggles, joys, even the occasional cat picture, creating greater connection and help for healing and growth. Random drawings for free small group sessions and drawings for private coaching sessions with me. Priority access to becoming a guest on the Badass Counseling Show podcast. Unlimited access to my DIY video courses, Healing the Soul and Unleashing Your Greatness. And so much more. Community Plus is for people serious about their soul journey who want real growth, real help, real laughter, real connection, and true community. Join us now at badasscounseling.com.
From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, greetings, fine people. It's great to have you here with us today. This is the Badass Counseling Show, and I am your host, Sven Erlandson. It's so nice to have you. Today's episode is a special tribute. It is baseball season in the United States, and so this is a special salute to all the minor leaguers. I know we have some who follow us, quite a few actually. You are on a bus, you are in a locker room, you're in a hotel room sharing it with one or two other smelly baseball players. So whether you are in a bus or you are in Boca Chica or somewhere in Santa Domingo down in the rookie leagues, or whether you're in Fort Myers or Cedar Rapids or Wichita or St. Paul or wherever you may be, we give a big shout out to all you professional athletes. And I know you want to reach the majors, but just so you know, from all of us sitting in the cheap seats, you already are quite technically a professional athlete. And we salute you, all you minor leaguers. Hats off to you in it every single day. Rob the Rocket is here in studio with me, and KC is over in the booth. How are you today, Rob?
Well, there's the major leagues, the minor leagues, and the little league. I'm about 2 leagues below that some days, but I'm feeling okay today.
All right, I love to hear it.
Me too.
All right, and I'm in the happy league today. The sun's out. I tell you, what more does it take? So, Rob, tell us. We have one guest today. Tell us about Jericho.
All right, Sven. Jericho wrote in and said, I've read There's a Hole in My Love Cup. I have done the journaling. I have dug so deep into my life and healed so much. I have changed my core beliefs. I am finally who I feel I was always meant to be. My purpose in life quite literally fell into my lap. I know I'm supposed to use what I have learned in my life and be a light to help others out of their own darkness. I am currently training to be a spiritual life coach. My problem is that I still lack the motivation to live my daily life. And the physical pain I feel has manifested from emotional pain. I'm not sure if there is something deeper I am missing that needs healing, or it's because I am not yet living in alignment with my purpose. I am still at a job that has nothing to do with my purpose. I am also not surrounded by people who have the emotional intelligence I have, so I feel I kind of have to dim my light. I would love to dig deeper to figure it out so I can best serve others.
Jericho, good to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Thanks. All right. A few questions starting out. One, you mentioned that you have physical pain that you feel is manifested from your emotional pain. Just briefly, what is the physical pain?
It used to be like I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So I had all over body aches and just pain everywhere. And since I've been healing, it's kind of like died out. And now I just have headaches really bad and jaw pain from clenching my teeth.
Wow. All right. And you are certain that this has manifested from your emotional pain. And you're linking that in part because as you've done the work, that has reduced.
Yeah.
So it would seem that you're saying that as I reduce my emotional pain and the core beliefs that kept me trapped in that it would be reasonable that would potentially continue to ease. Would that be safe to say?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, next question. You're still lacking the motivation to live your daily life. I know who I've always been meant to be and my purpose in life, but I still lack the motivation. What would you say fundamentally is the blockage to your motivation, if you were to speculate?
I feel like I have the energy when I'm doing what I feel like I'm meant to be doing, but whenever I have to go to work and do a job that's not related to what I want to do, and I don't even get time really to talk to people, which is what I love to do. I feel so drained, and I just work all these crazy hours, and I feel like that's what's keeping me down, but
Unders-
also could be something else there. I don't know because I've
Understood.
been through a lot in my life.
Understood. And so is it safe to say that you're working the other jobs to pay the bills?
Yes.
Okay. And so are you, in terms of the work, you said, feel definitely called to be a spiritual life coach. Fantastic. And is it the spiritual life coaching is being pursued, but it's not at the point yet where I can make a living at it? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I just started schooling, but I feel like it's I felt called to do this program, but as I've been doing it, it's like a program they want you to heal while you learn the stuff, but I've already done the work through your book.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like hard for me to do this program because it's like complete different beliefs than what like I've learned. And so it's kind of making me not want to do the program anymore. And I feel like I don't even feel motivated to do it lately
Understood.
because of that.
And so let me ask you this. What for you originally, when you started the program, when you enrolled and paid for the program, what was the payoff that you were looking to have at the end of the program?
To be able to serve others
And able in terms of ability, or able in terms of now I have a certificate, or what are we talking about?
yes, because
Yes,
I
what?
just figured.
Wait, it wasn't a yes, no question. It was an either or question. Which one?
Oh,
Is
what was
it
it again?
the ability? I gave you a choice. Was it yes in terms of now I'll have the ability, or now I'll have the certificate? It was either or. And you said yes.
I have the ability, but I wanted the certificate.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So you got into this program because
Yeah.
because I wanted to get the ability and the program, or ability and the certificate. You for sure wanted the certificate. We've ascertained that. Did you have and you thought additionally, if I'm hearing you correctly, that I would also be getting some abilities that I did not have. Is that correct?
I feel like I have the abilities.
Now you do, but I'm saying when you signed up.
No, before I signed up, I felt like I had the abilities. I just didn't have the confidence needed to actually like put it out there.
Gotcha. And just so I'm curious, how long is the program? How much did it cost? And how long is the program? And how far into it are you?
I'm about 2 months in. It's a 7-month program, and it costed $7,000.
Okay. And were you required to pay the full $7,000 up front?
No, but I did.
Okay, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Hey. Don't beat yourself up. Can I ask how old you are, Jericho? That be okay?
Yeah, I'm 25.
25. All right. Thank you. All right. Jericho, if I were to tell you the amount of things that I invested in before I fully knew my path and the amount of money I spent, your $7,000 you would realize, hey, that's all right. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, I'm going to repeat back what I think I hear you saying. Then you tweak it, or just say, no, Sven, you're a fucking idiot. It's not that at all. Okay. What I think I hear you saying is, I went into this pretty much figuring that I knew what I was doing and that I could do this shit, but I needed the fucking certificate and I didn't have the confidence. So I figured somehow going through this program or getting the certificate would give me the confidence as well. So I bought into the program. And now I'm into it. And it's like, well, fuck, I can do this. But more importantly, I don't really agree with this shit. And I'm in it. And I guess I'd still like the certificate. But fuck. Would that be roughly where we are?
Yeah, I don't even feel like I can go on because I have to do like live training with people and I don't feel comfortable giving like trying to teach somebody ideas that I don't agree with.
Okay, and teach some ideas. Wait, live training. And live training is who? Wait, you're teaching someone ideas, or you're expected to learn them, or
like,
you're expected to
yeah.
implement them and actually
Yes.
coach someone.
Yes, yeah, implement them and coach them.
I see. Okay, so
It's
because
just-
it's
I
ideas
don't
you don't
agree with
believe.
them.
I got it.
Yeah.
And so let me ask a simple question. Because it's sounding from where I'm sitting like I really don't want to fucking be here. Fuck this. But I want the fucking certificate still, right? Or not?
At this point, I don't really feel like I care about the certificate. I just don't know how to get where I want to be.
Where do you want to be?
I want to do soul counseling. What you do.
And in what form? You want to do what I do, in what form or format or whatever?
I would love to sit down with people and help them become their best selves.
Okay. And what do you believe? But go ahead.
Not through a counsel. Like I don't want to go to school to be a counselor because I don't like the medical part.
Sure.
I don't want to do the therapy part.
Sure. And so
But
then
I had no idea how to get there. And then this program came to me and it looks from the outside, they don't tell you what it's about
right.
fully until
Right.
you're in it.
Right.
You
Oh,
know?
sure. And for all we
Yeah.
know, it's on the up and up. Who knows? Okay.
Yeah.
So here you are. And God damn it, I spent $7,000. But God damn it, I don't want to be here. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, let me tell you something. I mean, I've got a million stories like this. This is a quickie. I was married and I was probably, was it in our first year, second year, and first marriage. And I was like 23, 24, and we were living in Minneapolis. And she was either pregnant with our first child or we had the first child. And one of the jobs I had was I'd gotten hired by Northwest. I don't think they were Northwest Orient still at the time, Northwest Airlines. And as a baggage handler, which was fine by me. I had no problems with hard work. I'd done hard work. And I'm there on the first day of training in the bowels of Minneapolis Airport, whatever. And on the very first day of training, it was going fine. Everything's fine. And one of the trainers makes the comment. He makes a comment, let's be honest, this isn't rocket science here, blah, blah, blah. Phrase we've all heard before. Or he says, let's be honest, none of us are rocket scientists, blah, blah, blah. And the funny thing is I had literally just left 2 years as a cadet at the Air Force Academy where I was literally a rocket scientist. Because you're required, part of your studies are astronautical engineering, right? And I hadn't taken an astro course yet, but I would have been required to take astro courses. Anyway, the point was, nothing wrong with the work. Hell, great benefits. Are you kidding? Flight privileges, getting to go around. And I got no problems with hard work. I got no problems with working outside in winter. I grew up in Minnesota, big deal. But something about it on that first day just felt off. It wasn't even that comment, but that comment crystallized for me that experience felt off, and I quit after the first day. I have so many things in my life that I have quit. You could easily call me a quitter. Easily. I've been called it a million times. I don't give a fuck. I believe it requires courage to quit, especially when you've invested in yourself. Or when you've invested yourself into it, especially when you've invested money. Imagine getting $7,000 and 2 months into something and realizing, I don't want to fucking be here. And this is sucking the fucking life out of me. It's almost as if the gods or God or the universe or your soul is saying, how badly do you want it? And it isn't the certificate. It is communion with your own soul. How badly, how much do you trust your own inner voice? I used to give a sermon back when I was a pastor. It was one of my favorite sermons to give, just to kind of fuck with people. And I'd ask this question. I'd say, if God came to you tonight, assuming there was God, of course you do that when you're a pastor, right? But if God came to you tonight in a way that was absolutely unequivocally convincing to you, whatever that would be, right? It's different from each of you, but in a way that you knew, holy shit, this is the creator of the fucking universe, right? And you know it's God, 100% unequivocally. And God said to you, I want you to go and do X with your life. Raise your hand if you would go and do X with your life. And every single hand in the place shoots up, right? In my congregation, let's say it's 1,000 people, whatever. And then I pause and I say, good, God bless you. God, you're all so wonderful. And I pause and I say, okay, now 3 weeks later, middle of the night, God comes to you in a way that is absolutely unequivocally, unmistakably God. 100%, you know it is the absolute, unequivocal, all-being master of time, space, and dimension, creator of the universe, and says to you, that was great. Now I want you to do with the rest of your life Y, which is basically the exact opposite direction. How many of you would go in the opposite direction and do Y?
Yeah.
About half of the hands shot up. About a quarter of the hands sort of went up a little bit. And about a quarter of the hands just sat in their laps. It's a fascinating thing. And I said, really? So the creator of the universe says, go do the opposite. And you're like, and now of course I wouldn't say this, and you're like, fuck you. I just told my friends and my neighbors and everyone that I'm building the motherfucking ark, and you change your mind? I'm not going to embarrass myself. I see. So you're going to tell off the creator of the universe. Right. Because you don't like it. Right. Well, this is fundamentally, if you were so convinced, Jericho, that it was your calling to do this, and I believe you, I actually fucking believe you, because I have lived where you are right now. I have lived it. If you were convinced that it was your calling, and now you are fundamentally saying that your energy, the way you're describing it to me is your energy is absolutely and unequivocally telling you, I don't want to be here. And now it's like, well, I don't want to listen to my soul. And that's okay. It's scary. This is virgin territory for you, this whole soul shit. And trusting your own inner voice. Especially, you talk about, I've done the healing and I had to do all this fucking healing, which means this whole thing of getting to know yourself versus listening to all those external power sources, this is virgin turf. So you're still getting acquainted with that voice, learning to trust it. And this is a whopper. $7,000 fucking dollars is a lot of fucking money. Either A, especially if you had to earn it yourself, or especially if you had to borrow it from somebody else. Either way, it's a lot of fucking money. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Give me a feeling word. What feeling are you feeling right this moment? And good is not a feeling word.
Like, I'm okay with anything that happens.
Understood.
But I don't know.
That's not a feeling. That's not a feeling. Find the word. Find the word. If you got your phone in front of you right now, Google feeling words. So you're going to need to do this. Part of your expertise in your own work of mastering yourself is being able to know moment to moment, what am I feeling? You've got to be tuned into self to know, what am I feeling moment to moment? Because if it's something you don't want to feel, you've got to be able to release those content. And what were you feeling at the beginning of our time talking together?
Excited.
Okay. Content. And why do you think you're feeling content right now? If you were to put a why to it.
Because I'm okay with whatever. Like, I know money, I feel like money always comes back. Like, I don't stress too much about the money. I just don't like, and I'm comfortable quitting the program. I told a few members of my family, but if I were to change my mind, the people that I've kept in my life, they would be like, okay, not for you, or like, that's all right. They wouldn't judge me for it.
Nice. Nice to have that support. Fuck, that's
It
awesome.
is.
Okay.
I worked really hard to only have those people in my life.
That's right. That comes at a price. You've earned that. You've earned that. Okay, so let me ask you then the next question.
I think I'm just scared because I don't know where to go if I don't do the program. Like, I don't know how to get to where I want to.
So you know the what, but you don't know the how.
Yeah.
Right. We don't get to know the how all the time.
Yeah.
But you do know the what. And the next what is not this. And the not this is this schooling. Right. And the idea of no certificate as well. Well, what I find interesting is this notion in my own work, and sort of why I do soul work is, where I come from in the background of sort of religion, spirituality. Well, who the fuck is an expert in spirituality? Who can tell another person what God is or gods are or their relationship with their own self? How is that? I understand the brain, and psychology has that, which is why I don't fucking touch psychology. I don't know anything about that. But the soul, how could you even possibly put a certificate on that? How is right. So how the fuck are you going to fucking take me to court or whatever? So at that point, for me, it's just like you hang your shingle. Like a doctor, like a lawyer, you hang your fucking shingle and you just start hustling. You start humping. You just start fucking putting it out there. And if it is your destiny, then you will have the energy to keep hustling. And whether the success comes or not isn't necessarily your destiny. There was a guy, I was living in Ohio actually, and there was a young man and his wife who owned a tanning salon that I would go to because in winter I like my vitamin D. Plus I don't like having pale whitey skin. And if I'm really honest, I'm fucking vain, whatever. Anyway, this guy had been going to his place like, 4 months through winter. And towards the end of the winter, he said, we're chatting. And he says, he was a really religious guy, good guy, nice guy, probably 28, 30, let's say. He said, I quit my engineering job to get this tanning salon and bought another one. And I really felt this is where God was calling me. I really, really believe this is where God is calling me, but it has not profited. And it's to the point where it's drained all my savings and I may have to go back to working, for an engineering company, something like that. And I'm so struggling because my faith is struggling because I really feel like this is where God is calling me. I said to him, and so why would you question your faith? He says, because it's not succeeding. But this is what I felt called to do. So maybe I wasn't called to do it. I don't understand. I said to him, you assume that God was calling you to success when God was in fact calling you to a path. Those are two different things. We assume that if we're called to a path, we're called to success. Has it occurred to you that possibly God called you to this path so that you might have the realization that this is not your path? So that you might have the realization, shit, I don't want to do this. I would prefer the security of engineering so that I can provide a stable environment for my home or for my family. Or has it occurred to you that following this dream will give you the courage to follow some new dream that's going to come to you 3 months from now? Or has it occurred to you that this was somehow a stepping stone to something else? But we so often think if it's not the success that I envisioned, then it's not, then gee, there was something wrong with the original calling. But remember, doors open doors, open doors. And sometimes we can't see that third door unless we have the courage to walk through the first door. And this is what it means to live with an open hand, that we pursue the dream that is in our lap, trusting that our soul, even if you're not a God person, you can be a fucking atheist for all I care, but trusting that your soul will lead you to what is next, even if it doesn't look like what I initially envisioned it. All right, we'll be right back with much more to come.
I counseled with Badass Counseling for about 4 months, and Sven completely turned my life around. He kicked my butt. No shit. He made me do homework too, but I was so ready for a change that I just did it all. I'm telling you, he changed my life. Thank you so much, Badass Counseling.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with Jericho. Jericho, I want to ask you, the other piece that you mentioned that is sort of a blockage in your life to the flow of your own energy is your work that you are doing to sort of pay for your life. And you mentioned that your job has nothing to do with your purpose. And I'm not surrounded by people who have the emotional intelligence I have. I lived that for literally decades. I didn't have success in my work, literally, like career success where I could support myself off of the work I wanted to do, which was speaking, writing, counseling, for 20 years. When I was living in Los Angeles for 3 years and with my second wife, I worked at Starbucks in the morning to get benefits for her. I worked at a brew pub downtown Los Angeles in midday. And then in the evenings, I worked for high-end catering companies. And I'd hustle from one to the next on my bike. And, I got the benefit of being around people and interacting with people. But in the mornings, I was writing books. And I wrote, I think, 2 or 3 books while I was living in LA. And so I get it. It's like, fuck this. And the fucking success wasn't coming. And nobody was reading my fucking books and all this shit. Sucks. Ass. So let me ask you this. Why are you doing it? Why are you working jobs that you don't want to fucking work?
The money, the insurance.
And so then the question becomes, is the price that you're paying of being in a sort of a lower energy state around lower energy people or people that they're not bad people, I'm sure. It's just, I'd rather be around a different type of folk or doing a different type of work. Is the gain outweighing the cost, or is the cost outweighing the gain for you?
It feels like the cost is outweighing the gain at this point.
Fair. And is it possible to make a shift, or is it not possible at all, zero, to make a shift to something where the net would be a gain rather than a loss?
I'm sure there's always a possibility.
Within the scope of what you can see at this point, is there a possibility?
Yes.
And what would that be?
Find something else.
Okay. Now, I'm guessing that isn't the first time you've had that thought, but you haven't executed it, which is fine, no judgment.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to ask, why?
It's scary.
What's the scariest part?
Trying to find something that makes as much as I do now so I can pay the bills.
Is the scariest part trying to find it? Or is the scariest part that I may not find it and that I'll be stuck in this position? Is the scariest part that I'll find something and get partway into it and then it won't be any good? Because what's interesting is you said the scariest part is trying to find, which implies I haven't tried yet with much effort, which implies the really scary part is the trying, almost like I'm afraid to look, because if I even try to look, it'll fucking depress me, because what if there's nothing there that's better than this? How fucking depressing would that be? So is the scariest part actually getting something different, or is the scariest part of, Jesus, what if there's nothing out there? And so I don't even want to look because that would depress me even worse. What's the scariest part?
I guess just trying. Where I live, there's mostly just factory jobs. So it feels like that's all there is for me if I want to make a decent amount and have the insurance that I need. And so it feels like I'm already comfortable where I'm at. So if I'm just going to have to find another factory job, why should I leave?
Fair. And so it sounds like you're rocking a hard place sort of thing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're just playing with ideas here. We're just playing around. So, dumb question, but an honest question. Move? Is there any, and I know we're just playing with ideas, is there any place you could go where you could live for less, potentially find that if you found a job somewhere else in the vicinity of maybe someone you know, or a place where you could rent a room? I rented rooms in most places where I live. I didn't even have my own apartment. Why? It's fucking cheaper. But, or whatever it is there, do you know someone somewhere, or would it be possible to set up camp somewhere where you could get a job somewhat more in the realm of your liking?
Not really, because my family's here.
Do you know anyone outside of your family with whom you could potentially create something? Or is it possible to strike out on your own somewhere?
No.
So you're go ahead.
I don't have very many people in my life.
Fair enough.
And I just had a baby 6 months ago, and I have my boyfriend and his family, and he wants to stay around his family.
So that adds a whole separate wrinkle.
Yeah. Which I'm comfortable in the town we're in,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I could make an impact, because there's internet, and if I got into what I was doing, but like the jobs around here, they're just not anything what I would want to do unless you have a college degree or.
Fair enough. Let me ask you this question then, a somewhat odd question. In your relationship with your boyfriend, well, let me set it up by putting it this way. In my interactions with my buddy Todd lives back in Minnesota. I live on the East Coast. Todd and I have known each other since like 5th grade. And in my relationship with Todd, though we don't interact a lot, there are different powers and fears at play. Not a lot, but there's the power of, he could tell all my life secrets, and not that there are that many left, but he could tell all my life secrets, and then, people would know even more about me. Sven's dirty little secrets. There really aren't any, but, or in a relationship with let's say, a parent. Well, I fear that not getting their approval, and they may fear that I may tell some family secrets, or they have, influence over my spouse, because my spouse really likes my parents, and they also have financial influence in my life, especially if I'm young, let's say. And so in any given relationship or in a marriage, there are different powers and fears at place. You could leave me, or there's the power of sex. I've been withholding sex from you because you've been pissing me off, or I fear what my in-laws might think, or you fear me leaving you, or I'm afraid of being alone. All these different powers and fears at play in any given relationship. So if you were to think of all the different powers and fears at play in your relationship with your boyfriend, presently, in your relationship with your boyfriend, what is the power structure presently? What I mean is, who has what percent of the power between the two of you, just the two of you? Is it 20-80? Is it 60-40? What is the power structure between you and your boyfriend?
60-40. Me being 60, him being 40.
Okay. You made a comment a few minutes ago, and you said he wants to be near his family.
Yeah.
Interesting comment. You didn't say, we want to be near our families. Why didn't you say, we want to be near our families?
They're the only family I have, actually.
Wait a minute. I thought you said, my family supports me, my family this or my family that earlier, and now you're saying his is the only one that supports me.
That's who I meant by my family.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So his family is the only one that supports me. Okay. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me ask you now this. What percent do you need them in order to believe in yourself? Be honest. Be really dig fucking deep here.
20%.
Really? Because just a second ago, wait a minute, just a second ago, you said, because they're the only family I have, implying that part of the reason, when I had asked you, how come you said, well, he wants to be near his family. And then I said, but earlier you said, that my family, blah, blah, blah. They're the only family I have. It seems to imply you're staying around as much for their support of you as anything. How much do you depend on their support of you? Be really fucking honest here. What percent do you depend on their emotional support and or financial support of you? Emotional in particular. What percent do you depend on them? And, okay, answer that one first.
Maybe like 30% I depend on them
30% for
emotional.
Okay. For emotional support. Now, let me ask you this. If that number weren't quite fully accurate, what would be the most accurate number or the more accurate number? If the 30 weren't quite accurate, what would be the more accurate number?
I'm not sure because...
Speculate. Take a shot at it. If there were a more accurate number, what percent would you do you depend on their emotional support? If there were a number even more pinpoint accurate than 30%?
Maybe less, like 20, 25.
Okay, 25. Fair enough. Fair enough. So roughly a quarter to a third of your sense of support, sense of self, being able to stand on your own, a quarter to a third is based on them. Just out of curiosity, one more question, and that's this. What percent, again, you got to be honest because you don't help yourself if you're not fully honest with yourself. What percent do you fear their disapproval? His family and him?
10%.
Okay. Then just out of curiosity, again, why did you answer the question when I asked, what about moving? And you said, because he wants to be near his family. You didn't say, we want to be near family. You said he.
Sometimes I refer to them as...
And yet you didn't say we. Yeah, it's not how you refer to them. You started this sentence because he. That's the problem. That's what I'm zoned in on here. You didn't say it as we. You basically implied I don't want to, or I would be open to leaving, but he wants to be here, which is precisely why I went into the questions about power in your relationship and what powers might be operating here, because you basically just said, if I can't even consider leaving because he wants to be here. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So why don't you give me a little bit of an explanation about what might be going on there?
I'm open to leaving because my parents died 2 years ago. Okay. So I don't have anyone around here.
And instantly upon saying that, you start to tear up. Yeah. Understandably, it's only been 2 years. How did your parents, plural, so this was not an illness, this was some sort of, they both died of an illness 2 years ago. How old were your parents?
They were both 50.
Oh, good Lord. What did they die of?
My mom, they don't technically know because they never did an autopsy, but they think congestive heart failure. And my dad, they weren't not together, died. She died in January of 2023, and my dad died in September of 2023 of congestive heart failure.
For the love of God.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah. And so when you bring that up, you started to tear up. What are you feeling when you bring that up? What do you feel?
Pain.
Oh, yeah.
And just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some more healing you can do on yourself. Yeah. X marks the spot on the pirate map. There's an X right there. You need to dig there. And that has nothing to do with whether or not you're qualified or ready to do soul counseling. You can do it. There's no question. But there's some more healing you can be doing on yourself. Let me ask you this. To what degree have you avoided the bulk of the grieving because it's too fucking painful?
I feel like I've done it, but I guess not.
No.
Not enough.
Yeah, and the truth is to have both your parents die and to feel very fucking alone in the world when you have no other fucking family, there's no way that all got sewn up in 2 years. There's just no fucking way.
I mean, my family, like my mom's side of the family, my dad was never around. Like I never even met him.
Right.
But they're there for me, but on their terms.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about whether or not you have family there for you. I'm just saying once it's even the same for Rob or KC or me. I'm 57. My parents died in their 90s, which is when people should die, right? But there's a sense of, I can see the finish line. There's a sense of aloneness, even at 57, which is when you should begin to feel that shit. That's normal, but it creeps in because you realize there's a sense of aloneness coming from the front of life, not from the back. It's just like, and so here you are at 23 when it happened, and it's like, there's no safety net. There's no protection. I have to hold on to something because even if you had a butthole for a mom or an absentee dad, they were still out there somewhere. And now, poof, gone. So the point is there is still aloneness. There is still like, I am this little girl in this giant world, or this little boy in this giant world. So yeah, there's still more there. Okay, not the point of what I'm bringing up, but it's a great fucking segue. How much are you holding on to his family and him and now a baby for a security tether because I am fucking alone in this fucking world? Because I'm going to be just flat out fucking honest with you right now. I'm just going to give it to you fucking full on dose, fire hose. Sounds to fucking me, this town's fucking killing you. You're going to have to take, if all it is factory jobs, guess what? You got two fucking choices. Take a factory job, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I hate it when people fucking say this, but you got no choice. Take a factory job, suck its fuck up, and say, listen, I got to make the best of this because I do have a choice, actually. I could fucking leave and go start a life somewhere, and based on where you are in the U.S., I know there are big cities. I'm sure there are big cities around that wouldn't be that far, and you and your boyfriend could fucking commute and, share responsibilities, whatever, and it would mean fucking suck. I want to fucking live. I want to live. Or you can stay and take a job that you really don't want, but say, you know what? I got to make the best of this. And I'm going to make the best of it here. But the truth is, it's like you got one foot in old you, and holding on to the security, which I understand. I mean, fuck, you lost both of your fucking parents at 23. You need something. You feel like you need something to hold on to. The idea of just taking that giant leap of faith and jumping off the cliff into the great abyss, it's like, how fucking scary can it get? But this is what it is, man. Because you're going to coach people, counsel people in this exact situation. How the fuck are you going to do that if you haven't done it yourself? It'll just be bullshit. You'll be bullshitting. And that's okay. Or you'll just say, listen, I can't coach you on that because I've never fucking done that. And if you have the courage to be honest, they may still want your counsel. But the bottom line is, this is it. See, if you're really going to coach people going through the hardest of shit, guess what? You got to go through the hardest of shit. Well, you've already got one bit whopper under your belt in terms of hardest of shit, which is two parents dying, but you got to pull yourself out of that. Otherwise, you don't have anything to offer on two parents dying, except you do know the pain, but you got to find the way out if you're going to help people find the way out of the forest. Okay, so on this, let me ask you now, and I'm giving you the fucking fire hose here, but would it be reasonable to assume that to a large degree you're holding on to that family, and understandably so, and him, and this job that you fucking hate, because it's giving you that sense of security, but this sense of security is fucking killing you.
Yeah.
Right. And your big tell was when you used the word he instead of we. That was it right there. You told me so much about you right there in your choice of pronouns. You're deferring to him, whether because you fear losing him, or you think he knows better, or you are clinging to him because you need someone to pour love into your love cup, or something else. So let me ask you this. If that is true, if, and maybe it's not, maybe you're not clinging to him, but if you are clinging to him and deferring to him, because you said he wants his family. And then you went on to say, I'd be open to leaving. And he isn't, but I'm choosing to stay. So you clearly are deferring to him. You clearly are. And I'm not dogging you for that. Jesus, the amount of power I've given away to women that I loved, fuck me. And when you're in an equitable relationship, you're always giving because you know that you can't outgive the other person. But this life is fucking suffocating you And you're choosing it, which I understand, you're choosing it because it's what he wants, even though it's not what you want. And so I got to ask the question, as I talk about in my book, and you've heard me say a million times on the show, if you're ever trying to understand why someone's doing something that doesn't make sense, always ask yourself the question, what's the primary fear driving the behavior? Then speculate the answers and go with the biggest, hairiest, scariest one. So in this case, what would you guess is the primary fear driving your behavior that is causing you to choose a life that is sucking the fucking life out of you when you know this isn't the life that you want? What's the fear driving the behavior, Jericho? What are you really afraid of that keeps you locked into this fucking town, factory job, life situation where you claim to have 60% of the power, yet you're deferring to him and staying in a place you don't want to fucking be? What's the primary fear in one sentence or less?
Not sure what I'm scared of.
Take your time. There's no rush. I'll give you some possibilities. You run with them. Throw them all out. Make up your own, or take one of them, tweak it. You're afraid of raising a baby on your own in a different city, or you're afraid of leaving a baby here with him and his family, or you're afraid of not having a person in your immediate proximity to pour love into your love cup. You would literally have no one around you pouring love into your love cup. You're afraid of them being mad at you. You're afraid of his disapproval and the mean things he might say to you. You're a stupid bitch. Why are you leaving me with this kid? Or you're afraid of, could I even make it financially on my own? You're afraid of not being able to get work that you would enjoy and that would also get you insurance. You're afraid of being all alone in a big city, even if this big city were just a suburb. Play with any of those. Or maybe it's none of those.
Because I feel like in that sense, I defer to him. But like otherwise, I feel like our relationship is pretty
Terrific, I'm
equal.
sure. Yeah.
And the only reason I
go ahead.
said 60-40 is because, I mean, I make more, so I pay, like, financially, it's different.
Oh, so you even
But
make more money, but you're the one stuck in a fucking job you don't fucking want, and you're staying in a town you don't want to fucking be in.
yeah,
So you're paying for this life that you don't even fucking want. And maybe he's not mooching off you, but he's certainly got the better deal. But what's even more fascinating is you say, I got the power and we're good in every other way. But the one way that you are not good is the one fucking decision that is fucking crippling your fucking happiness. Your whole paragraph that you wrote in is not about anything other than you're in a fucking life that you don't fucking want, and you are in it because of the town that you are in, which I'm sure is a lovely town. Yeah. I love small town America. I grew up in a town of 643 people, and I guarantee your town is much larger than that. All right? So I love towns and small cities. I do, but it is crippling you for what you want to do. All right? And I'm sure you can try to make it and strive to make it in your place there. I'm sure you could, but your energy is screaming at you. And you are deferring to him. You are deferring to him. So on the one fucking decision, and I talk about this in a chapter in the book where I talk about in the chapter, go back and read it on Are You Sure? And in that chapter, I talk about this top level coach in collegiate athletics who made one decision wrong. He didn't trust himself on one decision, and it cost them a national championship. And it was a decision he made way back middle through the season. On this one decision, you are not trusting yourself because you have a fear. You have a fear. And I would bet my left testicle if Vegas were giving me odds. Either you fear losing him because you wouldn't have him pouring love into your love cup. You fear going and being on your own in a big city, which you've never done before, or you fear his wrath or his family's wrath. I'd bet my left testicle it's one of those three. Now, no casino's going to give me odds on three different choices, but I bet it's one of those three.
I guess going out and being in a bigger city and a place I haven't, because I've been in a small town my whole life.
That's it.
And well, I lived in a kind of bigger city once, but I had so much anxiety at that time of my life that I couldn't even
That's it.
I didn't even go out of the house.
That's exactly right. So your own soul is calling you to face your motherfucking fears. So with respect, how the fuck are you going to counsel somebody to face their fucking fears if you haven't done it first? And I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
But I had to face fucking being on my own. I had to face someone taking my children from me.
Yeah.
Illegally. I had to face all sorts of shit. And you're going to have to, or die, wither on the vine where you are. Your soul is calling you to be challenged. You want to do this? You are called, if you are called to greatness, and I believe that you are, greatness comes at great price, and comes at the price of extraordinary pain, extraordinary self-reflection, and the wisdom that you'll need for the greatness in the field that you want is going to come not just on pain, but self-reflection. Deep into that pain, purging of the pain, learning from it. What's it trying to teach me? And right now you are at a crossroads. And the crossroads is, do I have the courage to go into it? And no one will blame you if you don't. No one will fucking know. No one's going to know we had this conversation. Only you'll know. And I support you 100% because I know how scary it is. But guess what? This won't be the last time your soul calls to you. It's going to call to you every fucking day because you're going to know how fucking miserable you are every day you go to that fucking job. And so where you are is it's like you've been hiking up a mountain and now you're at a crossroads and there's a bench there and you're sitting and you're resting because it's like, oh shit. And one of the paths sort of leads flat and that's the life you're in. And it's a much easier path. It's flat. And then there's the path that keeps leading up. And you know the fucking views up there are a fucking monster, but it's a bitch of a path going up, man. And so you're getting a rest to decide what I want to do. But there are other paths that go up. And actually, this path that goes up, there's not even really a path. But you know that you can figure out a way up. And that's where you're at. And only you can decide.
It's weird because I did a lot of work. Through my childhood, like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was finally, feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a few months ago, I got through like this last little blockage, and then all of a sudden I felt like I knew what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And only within like a small span of like 2 or 3 months, I just immediately felt miserable at my job. Like it was like a complete switch.
Yeah.
And
that's it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because once you become aware of who the fuck you really are.
I haven't been sitting in this discomfort of this problem for very long, I feel like.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It's been a recent thing. And then I immediately, well, not found, but this program came to me and I was like, well, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'll do it. Like I've been trying to
That's fantastic. And so what do you make of that whole timeline?
It's crazy.
Yeah, but you say more than that. I agree with you, but that doesn't really say anything. So what do you make of this whole timeline?
That I need to just keep trusting that it's going to work out.
Exactly. Especially when it's hard and painful.
Yeah.
Just
I'm used to hard and painful.
Well, exactly. And you keep flushing out all the pain, all the fears.
Yeah.
And the truth is your energy is talking to you. And one of the books you need to read next, if you haven't read it, and it's on my recommended reading list in the book, and that's Living in the Light by Shakti Gawain. Not the one by Deepak Chopra, the one by Shakti Gawain, because she talks about exactly this and how we learn. And she says it's in such a pithy, very clean, simple way. Your energy is talking. Your energy is talking, and you've got to trust that energy. And this is it. The more we become our authentic self, the more we realize what is not this. And the Hindi word is neti, not this. Not this. And then it's like, oh shit. And so the stakes are going to keep getting higher. Do you have the courage to continue to clean out of your life that which is not you? And the prices get higher until all that is not you is out of your life. Furthermore, new things from your past are going to come in because there are still messages from your past that are still playing into your life right now. The fear you're experiencing now is still the resonation, the echo of messages from your past. And so you need to go in and ask yourself, where is this fear coming from? What is the original message? What is the original source of this message of fear? Now, no person is ever free of fear, but are there echoes? Where is this fear coming from? This fear of a new adventure, and naming the fear. What is it? Fear of being on my own? fear of big things, fear of failure, fear of people disapproving of me, fear of what is it, physical harm, naming your fears and then journaling them out and all the feelings that go along with them. But drilling down, where is this fucking fear coming from? Because it has origins. Yes, it has its own new sort of sources now of what you're actually facing, but it also has origins. It's resonating with, echoing something from the past. So I feel like you've got a good thing in front of you. You're basically faced with a choice in the end that only you can make. And so what I'm going to ask is for you to come right back to our overtime, and I have 2 questions I want to ask you. Would you be willing to come right back? Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on our show. And what a treat. What a great fucking story. Horrible story. Death of 2 parents 2 years ago. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Thank you so much for being on our show, Jericho.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure was ours. And to everyone out there in podcast land, on behalf of my team, KC over in the booth and Rob the Rocket, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.